In year 9, I moved school and I naturally drifted apart from my old friends. Probably me, myself, I wasn't really comfortable being with them and they weren't really suited to me anyway. And already I saw that my mum, I was getting grounded, I was getting punishments and all that stuff. So naturally, I thought, new school, I'm gonna be a new person. So I went, year 9, I started, and probably for most of year 9, sometimes I would meet some of those people from the past, but generally speaking, I was pretty much by myself. I was quite isolated in that year. Now, I did know some Muslims, but bear in mind, this is Newcastle. So we don't have large numbers of Muslims in the class. You know, we don't really have, I mean, you know, the class is kind of all people like me at that time. There wasn't a lot of diversity in the class. There wasn't a lot of people from different countries or different ethnic backgrounds or different places. There was maybe one guy from Bangladesh, there was maybe one guy from Pakistan, and that was probably it. The school year, the entire school year had, I don't think, more than 20 Muslims in the whole year. So I'm not gonna say that I was like around Muslims watching them all the time, but I was kind of aware of those people. And I don't think at that time I knew the difference between Islam and other religions from that area. For example, I don't think could I have really known the difference in that time when I was 13 between a Muslim and maybe a Sikh, for example. Like if they weren't dressed differently. I'm not sure if I would have really known the difference between them. Like, for me though, I saw, you know, people from afar, a few Muslims around and things like that. Over time, I did make some friends with some Muslim brothers. Again, I wasn't really close friends with them, but I made some friendship groups and things like that. And my mom was happy because, you know, I was moving away from the bad group that I was with. I think what started to happen at that point, and I can't tell you whether it was year 9 or 10, but we continued with RE classes. And I'm pretty sure it was in year 9, but it might have been even in year 10, where I had an RE teacher. She was a lady, and this is the first time I remember studying about Islam. So maybe it's unfair, I always feel it's unfair to say this, that nobody gave me da'wah. Maybe that's unfair to those brothers, because I'm sure they actually tried, and I'm sure they did show me some things about Islam before I became Muslim. But there wasn't a time when someone said to me, Tim, you should become Muslim, like that, or we'd like to invite you to become Muslim or something like that. It wasn't like that. What there was though is we started to learn about Islam at school. Now you know what they're going to teach you, right? They're not going to teach you like, they're not going to give you da'wah. They're not going to, you know, the teacher, she was some kind of like neo-Buddhist type of thing. You know, like she believes in like karma and the universe and whatever, but she doesn't really believe in Christianity. And she was just kind of like in that sort of like, she liked the ideas, some of the ideas, philosophical ideas from other religions. She wasn't really Christian like that too much. When she taught us about Islam, one thing I'll say, she taught us very factually. She was very, very factual. Like she really did tell the truth. She didn't like it much. I remember very clearly one time where she actually used to make fun of the Muslims. So she said, Muslims have to pray 5 times a day. And then she said to the class, and there was like a couple of Muslims in the class, maybe 3, 4 by that time they were in the class. She said, which of you guys pray 5 times a day? You're asking 13-year-old kids. Yes, I would love it if they all put their hand up. It would be great if they would have all put their hand up, but you know, one person said 3 times a day, one person said 2 times a day, one person said, I don't pray at all. One person said, I don't pray at all. So she said, see, this is the problem with Islam. I remember these words, I remember it like yesterday. She said, see, this is the problem with Islam. You pray 5 times a day, but none of you do it. And I agree. I don't think what she said is necessarily wrong. That is the problem. The problem is that we have the perfect religion, but we ourselves don't necessarily practice it as much as we should.